Have you ever imagined driving a Ferrari on the Nürburgring? A rally car on the dirt roads of Finland, or even a Formula 1 car on the Monaco Grand Prix? Sounds awesome, right? Well, what if I told you that you don't need to be a millionaire or a professional racer to do that, since you can do it from the comfort of your home with a Simracing setup? With that being said, how do you get started with Simracing? What equipment do you need? What games do you play? And how do you improve your skills and have fun? Don't worry, as I'm here to help you. In this video, I'll show you everything you need to know about what you need to get started, so let's go. If you are new to Simracing, you might be wondering, should I start on PC or a console? And the simple answer is, start with what you have at the moment. It is much easier and cheaper to adapt to your current situation than to go ahead and buy a new system. If you already have a PlayStation or an Xbox, stick with it for now. But what are the pros and cons of each option? Let's find out. The main advantage of a console is that it is much affordable than a PC. You don't have to worry about components, compatibility issues, as most games are already optimized for these platforms, and you will also have access to subscriptions that will let you try out different games and find the one that suits you best. However, consoles have some limitations as well. For example, you have less customization options for the games, and not all of the games that you play will have an active or a very competitive community. The games, they also tend to be less realistic than the ones on PC, but we'll talk about that more later. On the other hand, a PC is probably the best option for sim racing in the long run. It will offer a world of possibilities that are not available on consoles, such as a lot of customizations for your games and communities that will focus more on the competition and the clean racing. You also have access to the best simulators on the market, which are only found on PC. However, a PC is also a big investment, and you need to make sure that the games that you want to play are well optimized for your hardware, because if not, it wouldn't be worth it. But that being said, you can always switch to PC later if you start on a console and decide that you want to take this hobby more seriously. Now, you have already chosen your platform. What is the next step? Picking the right equipment to enhance your sim racing experience. So, let's go. You might have already tried some games with a controller or a keyboard and mouse, but you are ready to buy a steering wheel. But before you do that, there is something you need to know. Not all steering wheels are the same. The most important thing to look for is the force feedback, which is what will make the steering wheel feel realistic. There are many cheap options that won't have force feedback, and please do not buy them, because if you do, you'll notice that you wasted your money and the experience won't be the same. Also, other thing that you need to keep in mind is that when choosing your equipment, you need to make sure that it's compatible with your console. So if you are on PlayStation, I will highly recommend the Logitech G29. That was my first wheel, and it is the thing that helped me through this whole journey. If you're on Xbox, Logitech has pretty much the same wheel, and it will offer you everything you need to get going. So a set of pedals and the steering wheel. Granted, these ones won't feel as realistic as other options on the market that can go upwards of $500 to $1,000, but to get started, this one will do. Another recommendation that I could give you is to try out the system before you commit to buy a very expensive purchase, and see if you actually enjoy driving on the simulator. I have seen many people who buy very expensive systems and sell them in a month or so because it is not what they expected. Now, if you have a PC, you can use any steering wheel you want, but make sure that it has force feedback. Another thing that can actually make a big difference in your sim racing setup is a cockpit. The structure will hold the steering wheels, the pedals, even the monitors and other peripherals in place, and it would improve the stability, comfort, immersion of your simulation. Although most equipment can be mounted on a table, I will recommend that you look for a cockpit if you want to take this hobby to the next level. Now that you have your platform, your equipment, your cockpit, you need to choose a racing sim to play. There are many racing games available for different platforms, and they are not all the same. They can be classified into 3 categories: simulators, simcades, and arcades. For the simulators, these games try to imitate real cars and racing as closely as possible. They have very detailed physics models that simulate tire wear, weight transfer, track temperature, and other factors that affect the car's performance. These games are not easy, and you need to learn how the car behaves in different situations. But once you master them, the payoff is great. Some examples of these games can be Assetto Corsa Competizione, R Factor 2, and R Racing. Now the Simcades are games that have a balance between realism and fun. They are not as complex or difficult as the simulators, but they still give you the feeling of driving a race. They have some realistic physics such as tires, weight transfer, but they also have more assists, fictional tracks, and other features. These games are good for beginners. These games are good for beginners or casual players. Some of these games are GT7, Forza Motorsport, or the F1 series. And now the arcades are games that focus only on the fun of it and ignore the laws of physics. They will let you drift, jump, crash, and do all these crazy stunts without any consequences. These games are more suited for playing with a controller than a steering wheel, and they are good for relaxing, having a laugh, and some examples of these games can be Mario Kart, Need for Speed, or Trackmania. Now, these are some of the main factors you should consider when choosing a racing sim to play. Of course, there is no definitive answer as to which game is the best, as different games suits different tastes and preferences. The best way to find out which game is right for you is to try them yourself, either by watching video gameplays, reading reviews, or playing the demos. Sim racing is not just about the race, it is also about the community. Most games have large online communities where you can connect with other racers, share tips, participate in events, etc. You can join online forums, social media groups, Discord servers to find people who share your passion for sim racing and for the games that you are currently playing. You can also join online leagues, championships to compete, and that will improve your skills down the line. My recommendation would be to start learning racecraft, and that will actually help you improve a lot. And that was it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Again, let me know down in the comments what games are you most excited to play with your new setup, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.